And good afternoon. Welcome to the booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. I'm very excited for my next guest. Known this gentleman for a long time. He's done an excellent job in education, working his way through the gauntlet, so to speak, of that situation. He's currently the superintendent of Campbell Public Schools. Mr. Ben Foster, welcome to the booth.
Thank you, Darren. Excited to be here and appreciate you having me.
And as we get started, again, this is Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. Ben, can I call you Ben?
Yeah, that's fine.
Ben, tell the listeners a little bit about Ben Foster.
Okay. Well, I just finished my 15th year. Well, I guess I should say I'm starting my 16th year. School just started back this week. 4 years as an educator here in Kennett. I graduated from Kennett. Went to school, graduated from SEMO, and was fortunate I got hired about 2 weeks before school started here at Kennett. They had an opening. So I was here for 4 years, got my master's degree in administration, and went and interviewed at Campbell for an assistant principal position. Spent 2 years as a K-12 assistant principal. Was fortunate enough to become the elementary principal for 4 years, and then I served as the junior high school principal for 2 years, and I just completed my third year as superintendent. So I've been able to see kind of all aspects of the school system and get to experience, working with elementary students, junior high and high school students.
And tell the listeners a little bit that are here on the Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. You indicated you started teaching here in Kennett. What was your initial role? What did you begin teaching?
Started off teaching PE while I was at Kennett. I was physical education. I spent 1 year in alternative school, and I actually was one of the first JAG specialists back in the state of Missouri. I can't remember the exact year, 2012, 2013. JAG was a new initiative, and Kennett was one of 3 schools in the state of Missouri to have the JAG program, and that kind of brought a whole different experience and perspective into education, and just working with students, giving them some job employability skills and providing opportunities for students that might not otherwise have those opportunities. So like I said, it wasn't anything that I ever anticipated doing, but it was one of the more rewarding positions that I've had in education. And to be honest with you, I went into education, thought I was going to coach either football or coach baseball, and that was my long-term plan. And I believe, God has other plans, and I believe He just put me at the right place at the right time. I've been fortunate to be in Campbell.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of Campbell Public Schools. Ben indicated that he went to Southeast Missouri State. A unique story. Ben, I know that you're married. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
And your wife also teaches at Campbell. Is that right?
She does. She coaches. She teaches and coaches just about everything we offer there at the school.
And I know everyone's going to say, well, Darren's just making stuff up, and he's always saying this. But it's very small world. When I was going to Southeast Missouri State back in the 1990s, I took an accounting class, and one of my professors was your mother-in-law, Dr. Deborah Beard.
That's right, yeah.
Dr. Beard was the accounting chairperson at that time of the accounting and finance, and I think the legal. I can't even remember she's a very nice lady. Just shows it's an interesting way how things work out, isn't it?
It is, and on top of that, not only was her mom a professor there, but I actually knew my wife's dad before I knew my wife, because he was a PE professor there at SEMO. So both her mom and dad both were at SEMO. And
again, we were talking with Ben Foster, the superintendent of Campbell Public Schools, on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. Obviously, it's an exciting time at Campbell. If you've driven by the school, you'll notice there's a lot of a lot of construction and a lot of debris that's still being taken care of, but a lot of stuff's going on. It kind of explain to the listeners what's going on at the Campbell Public Schools right now.
Yeah, we were fortunate back in April. We were able to pass a no tax increase bond. So with those funds, we were able to, we renovated our fine arts building, which was built in 1967. That houses our music, our band, and our art classrooms, and some of our high school electives. And we were also able to renovate our VOAG building, which was built in 1968. And then in our elementary gym, which was built in 1978, we were able to just, not the classrooms, but the gym portion of it, able to put new HVAC system in there. Previously, we didn't have any air conditioning in that building. New floor. We just had open house on Monday night, so complete renovation from flooring to paint to lights, bathrooms. It took a building that was almost 60 years old, and when you walk in the doors, it looks like a brand new building. So I was extremely excited to show that to our community, and fortunate to have very strong steering committee members that helped pass that bond. And it was a proud moment, walking them through the buildings, and because a lot of those committee members grew up in that school district, and they remembered what that building used to look like. And you talk about the debris and rubble. We were also able to demo 4 buildings that were no longer in use, just due to deferred maintenance and just energy efficiency. Just it was time for those buildings to come down, and unfortunately, that's taken a little longer than we had anticipated. But it's not an interruption to the instructional process. But we are having to kind of alter our playgrounds because those buildings were right smack dab in the middle of our playgrounds. And what we're trying to work on in that area is, one, we're just going to clear that area just for in the future if we ever have any building needs. But if you've ever driven through Campbell when we're hosting a tournament or a Friday night basketball game, we always have vehicles lined up and down the road on Highway 55 or 53. So just for extra safety, we're trying to add additional parking there as well.
And again, as I drive by back and forth, if I'm going to get Bader Peaches, or if I'm going to Marty Powers to get vegetables, or anywhere in that area, the Sugar Shack to get a milkshake, the aesthetics of the campus is improved so much with the demolition of those buildings, and just the neat stickers with "Welcome to the Oasis" and things of that nature. So you've got to be excited about how the aesthetics of the school is really looking this year.
Absolutely. That's one thing, as I took over superintendent, looking at a long-term facilities plan, it's always one of the things I had up on my top of my priorities. When you first come into town, that was especially if you're coming from the south, from Holcomb, the first thing you seen were buildings from 1967, 68. And as you stated, we have a beautiful elementary building that's going on its 10th year, and then our high school building is going on its 23rd year. So I tell people all the time, I believe we've got some of the nicer facilities in our area. And if you ever walk into, I remember I went and interviewed at Campbell. The first thing, Jay Thornton was the superintendent at the time, and I just told him, I said, your buildings are immaculate. It's amazing how nice and clean they are. And that's a testament to my non-certified staff. Several of them been with the district for 20 plus years, and they take extreme pride in it. So yeah, for me, it's a sad time, and it's a tough selling point for, like I said, a lot of individuals who grew up in that community and attended school in those buildings. It's sad for them to see those buildings no longer there. But it is great to see that it's kind of cleaned up, and you get to see our beautiful campus.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, superintendent of Campbell Public Schools, doing an outstanding job. You indicated you're beginning your fourth year superintendent. It flies by. I apologize. And we're welcome to the booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. And one thing that amazes me with the Campbell Public Schools, a lot of these districts will have assistant superintendents, things of that nature, who will assist with nothing but facilities, management of the facilities, things of that nature, hiring, firing, to allow you to focus on basically more CEO things. It kind of explain the hierarchy of the Campbell Public Schools for the listeners, if you don't care, your curriculum director and so forth.
Right. So, and you speaking of curriculum director, that's a relatively new position. That was another position that I'd held for several years. And as you had stated, there's so many other hats that I wear. This is our second year. 2 years ago, we wanted to place another emphasis on response to intervention to identify and provide services and supports for those students who may be struggling. So what we did is we created a position for RTI and curriculum director. And so Lori Bunning serves in that position for us. She's been in the district for several years. And so we have our curriculum director, and then we have 2 building principals. When I first went to Campbell, we had a K-12 assistant principal that would help with day-to-day attendance and discipline. But like many other school districts in the area, we had a steady decline of attendance. So I'd probably say about 10 years ago, we absorbed that K-12 position. So each building, we have a preschool through 6th grade principal. She's in charge of approximately about 300 students in her building, and she's probably in charge of about 25 to 30 staff members as well. Then we have a junior high and high school principal. She's in charge. That's Lacey, and our elementary principal is Chelsea Adams. And then our junior high and high school principal is Lacey Winchester. She's a new hire. We're excited to have her this year. She's in charge of 7th through 12th grade in her building. And again, she's very similar. She's in charge of about 240 7th through 12th grade students and about 25 staff members. And then the rest of it falls to me with our title programs, our SDAC programs, policies, finance, the PR side of things. And that's one thing that I remember going through classes, and Kim Campbell, he was an instructor of mine, and he's from Kennett, and had many years of education. He always stated the best position to be a district leader is in a small school, just due to the sense of community and the teamwork that goes along with that. But he also said it's going to be the most challenging and most difficult because you're going to wear so many hats. And stepping into this position, I was fortunate to have a good mentor, but when you sit in that seat, you realize just how much you truly do, and you network with others. And that's the great thing. I told you I wanted to become a coach. And that's the one thing I missed when I went into administration, is that camaraderie you have with the coaches. And that's one thing that I've learned as a superintendent. Your network, it's almost like you're back in the coach's office. You're there, you have people you can count on. If you have a question, you can call. We've had great mentors just in this area. Chris Wilson was just recently retired not too long ago. He was a great resource for me. Chad Morgan at Cena Tornersville. And I just know those are individuals I can count on. And that's one thing, as I gain more and more experience, I hope to be able to pass on to others as well.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of Campbell Public Schools, beginning his 4th year superintendent. 4th year. I'm never good with numbers.
16th year in education, 4th year superintendent.
And it just flies by.
It does.
And again, we're welcome to the booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. And Ben, we're talking a little bit about the coaching aspect. I know coaching's not totally out of your blood, is it right now? Are you doing anything as far as, I know you have a couple of excellent athletes in the household. So are you still doing any coaching whatsoever?
Yeah, I'm fortunate. Both of my kids, I've got twins, a twin girl and a twin boy who are 13 going into 8th grade. And we stay pretty busy and active in sports. So actually for the school district, I am coaching junior high baseball. And then I tell my wife she's fortunate. She's got the best assistant coach in the state of Missouri. So I help my wife with the high school girls assistant basketball position.
And I know that we have done some games in the past, the Boot Hill Conference Tournament. I know I saw that you were over there doing some assistant coaching. It looked like you were definitely not taking the lead. It looked like your wife was kind of running the show. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, we joke. That's the time when she's in charge. I just do what I'm told.
Well, that's why you're an excellent superintendent. Again, we're here with Ben Foster, superintendent of Campbell Public Schools, talking a little bit about the Campbell Public Schools. And Ben, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about some of the more difficult things you've had to deal with that's been handed to you as a result of the legislature. Is it Senate Bill 40 requiring the minimum payroll of $40,000 for new teachers that you had to deal with? I know that they've also implemented the no cell phone policy. Can you kind of explain to the listeners whenever you're dealing with teachers who's been there 13, 14, 15 years or making a certain amount on your pay scale, and the legislature comes in and says, hey, we're redrawing the whole thing. We're going to start at 40,000. You got to get here. How did you handle that? How did you juggle that? And how did you make it so that there wasn't issues with the staff at the Campbell Public Schools?
You are correct. That's challenging when you get told this information. Like you said, you've got a teacher that's been with the district, 13, 14, 20, 25, 29 years. And then all of a sudden, you got a beginning teacher who's getting a huge pay raise. And I think the most important thing is transparency. You just got to have honest communications. And I remember when that time come, we were fortunate in a lot of school districts where we still had some ESSER funds that we were able to help out with some of our teachers with more experience. But so, we just had a district meeting. I explained to them, guys, this is where we're at. There's a teacher baseline grant, and there's going to be some staff members that may get a $5,000 to $6,000 raise. There may be some of you that have been with the district for a while, and you may only get a $1,000 raise, and that's not anything that anybody wants to hear. Is it fair? No. But at the end of the day, that's all we can do is work with what we have, and we're kind of facing the same situation now with the state minimum wage. School districts have always been exempt from minimum wage. Well, new legislation just passed, so August 28th, minimum wage is at $13.75. January 1, it's at $15 an hour. So again, I dealt with that with certified staff 2 or 3 years ago. Well, I'm facing it again this coming school year. And again, it goes back to open communication, transparency, and just explaining to them like, hey, this is why we're doing it. It's not because we value one person more than the other, but overall, I think the state was trying to do a great thing. It'd been great if we had enough funding just to reward all teachers, but unfortunately, that just wasn't the case.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of Campbell Public Schools. And Ben, I think everyone's going to agree that teachers are the most underpaid profession in the entire world. No one denies that whatsoever. But when the legislature comes in and dictates, here's where your payroll has to be, figure it out, it's very difficult for these small school districts because you're the only thing you have is your tax revenue that you get because of your levy.
Right.
And I know that there's been some discussion that they're going to help fund some of these payrolls and things of that nature. But how long is that going to last?
And that's the $1 million question every year when you start budgeting. I have a budget prepared June 30th, and we find out afterwards if there's going to be a teacher baseline grant. So I will say this: I was fortunate. I took over a district that was in great financial position. That we've gone 5 years in a row to go ahead and address our pay scale. So we've had 5 years of salary increases. Right now, our starting pay is at $38,500. State statute says we got to be at $40,000. So we take advantage of that grant that the state does provide us for that additional $1,500. And just from year to year, that's why we were so aggressive, because I don't know how long that grant's going to be there to help offset that. And it'd be difficult, if we would have stayed at 34,000 when that grant's gone. There's going to be a lot of school districts who are going to have to make difficult decisions, and unfortunately, who suffers are the students, because the main source of your expenses are teacher salaries and benefits. So when that time comes, you're going to have to cut teachers. When you cut teachers, you're increasing class sizes, and you're taking away some of that small group one-on-one instruction that students would receive.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the Campbell superintendent, who does an excellent job with everything involving the Campbell Public Schools. Welcome to the booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. And we've talked a little bit about the Senate Bill 40 and the raising of the salary, and you've kind of touched on it. But just so the patrons and the listeners know, what's the current status of the budget in Campbell Schools? You're on good financial shape, correct?
We are. Yeah, we finished last school year. We were fortunate to be at about 52% reserve fund balance. This year is going to be a tough year. Just again, decline in enrollment. We're probably going to look at. I presented a deficit budget for the first time in my 4 years. However, it's about $150,000 deficit, and I try to be conservative in my revenues, and so I'm hoping maybe that this year that the state fully funds us at the SAT of 7145. We were as of today, we've got 23 additional students this year than when we left in May. So if those kids were at school 100% of the time, that's approximately $160,000 additional dollars in funding. So overall, Campbell School District's in great financial situation. I believe we're still able to offer smaller class sizes, and we're able, like I said, proud that we implemented the response to intervention, where we're able to help identify and provide supports for those students who are struggling to continue to produce high academic on state assessments.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of the Campbell Public Schools, and welcome to the booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. And you may or may not know, Ben, that my father graduated from the Campbell Public Schools. He was a proud alumni. I love the Campbell Schools. He and his cousin, as a matter of fact, went through high school together. They took every class together every year.
Yeah.
So they were.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they're the same schedule every year.
Yeah.
And then they went to Mizzou, and it was a total disaster. But that's a different story. And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of Campbell Public Schools. And I know I'm asking you some tough questions, but I know you're answering them, and you've got an answer, because I'm really impressed again by your ability to handle the tough issues. And again, the legislature always amazes me when they pass these laws and they want you to implement them. The cell phone policy. Again, I understand that cell phones are a definite nuisance and a hindrance when you're trying to teach in the public schools. But again, the state says, hey, it's local control until we want to do something. And then it's, hey, no cell phones.
That's right.
You solve it. How are y'all handling the no cell phone policy, or the whatever the policy is according to the state?
Well, fortunately for us, we were a little bit different position than a lot of school districts. We haven't allowed cell phones.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, superintendent of Campbell Public Schools, on Welcome to the Booth, KDX AM 1590.
And so students were always able to have them on their person. So when they came to school, they were able to have them in their backpack, because we have a lot of schools that, they ride the bus to school, and then after school's dismissed, they go to basketball practice or volleyball practice. And so I understand the need to have a cell phone. So basically what we've done is it's still a zero tolerance policy. And students understand, they're to keep them in their locker, they're to keep them in their bags. They're not to be used, and we've just explained to them. Again, it kind of goes back to being transparent and open lines of communication. We tell them up front, if you get caught on it, it's a zero tolerance policy. So even if it's to call mom and say, hey, I'm not feeling well, or I forgot my shoes at home, students know they need to go through the front office and make that phone call through the office phone.
And, I've been to numerous school board meetings, and it was amazing the amount of time that was needed. They were talking about buying those Yoder bags. They were talking about, should we not even let them have them at all? But I think, the Campbell Public Schools policy of, hey, they're going to have them, don't use them. If you need to use them, let us know, so that way we're ahead of time. That's got to be the most sensible policy that I've heard ever. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. It's cell phones are a part of everyday life. They're not going anywhere, and they have a lot of great uses. And now they need to be controlled, and there's a proper time and a proper place. And in the classroom, when the teacher's trying to teach, isn't the appropriate time. And I believe the idea behind that statute was to possibly help prevent possibly some inappropriate behaviors. Students want to video fights, or they want to say inappropriate things, and maybe they want to video a teacher. So they try to prevent some of those things. But like you said, it kind of goes back to the minimum wage and teacher salaries. All these are great ideas, but we need to put a little bit of additional forethought into before we make this statute. Like, how's it going to affect local school districts, families, students, and those who are responsible for implementing these statutes that they put in place?
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of Campbell Public Schools, talking a lot about the Campbell Public Schools. And, going back to the aesthetics, the campus looks absolutely amazing. I know that you've got to be pleased with the progress that's going on. Is there still any construction that's left to be done, or has that all been completed?
We do have, so they've got the buildings down. They've got to remove the debris that's there. Now, the main debris that we have is concrete from the sidewalks, the foundation on those old buildings, and just the bricks of the buildings. And what we're doing is, instead of hauling all that off and then bringing chat back in, we're using that as a base, and we're going to add parking it'll go from our Circle Drive all the way down to our baseball field. So we still have a lot to get done. I will say our demo guys, they've done a great job in keeping it clean and keeping it separated, and allowing us to go on about starting the school year without any interruption. But as far as the renovations of the classrooms, all that's been complete, just minor touch-ups, a little paint here. In our elementary gym, I've been there, I just completed 12 years, and we really haven't used that elementary gym for anything other than practices. So now that we have air conditioning in there, we're going to move all of our elementary activities into that building. So we still have bleachers to get installed in that building. We've got some wall pads to put up. And, that's one of the things I'm probably most excited about is just because it's another part of the community that we can use, something that we haven't been able to offer. Now we can offer that for our community as well.
Absolutely. Ben Foster, the superintendent of Campbell Public Schools, on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. And switching gears a little bit back to the legislature, the big thing that a lot of the districts are dealing with here is the 4-day school week. Were we going to go 4 days? Are we going to go 5 days? What's the advantages? What's the disadvantages? What's the current situation with the Campbell Public Schools in your schedule?
Well, at Campbell, we just finished our second day of transitioning to a 4-day school week. So it's been a topic that we've discussed several times throughout the years at Campbell, and it was a decision that had a lot of thoughts and a lot of planning involved. I started meeting with my school board again, probably September, October of last year, and again, kind of looking into the future, long-term planning. I have about 10 teachers who are scheduled to retire between last school year and here in about 3 years. And where Campbell's at, we had Twin Rivers, we had Malden, we had Holcomb, 3 neighboring school districts who were 4 days. And then you look at Piggott, that's 10 minutes down the road in Arkansas. They were offering starting salaries at $50,000 a year. So you take that into account, and then you look at the national data that shows that back in early 2000s, the education degree was the number 1 degree that was given out from a university, and as of today, it's the number 11 degree. You get on moteachingjobs.com, and you can see throughout the school year there's hundreds and thousands of teaching jobs that are districts are still trying to fill throughout the year. And I've always felt like we've always been fortunate to hire certified staff members. But out of those 10 that I said earlier, they had 2 things in common, or they have 1 or 2 things in common. They either graduated from Campbell or they lived in Campbell. And so just having those conversations with my board is, they're loyal to our school district. They're loyal to our community. But someone that's graduating from Arkansas State, from SEMO, from Mizzou, they may not have ties to Campbell or any type of loyalty. How are they going to come to Campbell when we're all relatively paying about the same amount of money? Like we talked about earlier, we have a teacher baseline grant, so they're getting $40,000 wherever they go. You got Holcomb that's on a 4-day, Malden 4-day. I put myself in a 22, 23-year-old's shoes, and I have an offer from a 5-day or 4-day. More than likely, I'm going to go 4-day. And so what we decided is, I created a spreadsheet, a form, just an assessment. I'm drawing a blank. What I'm trying to survey, a community survey, and we sent it out, and we received the results. I thought we were about 82% that were in favor. We had about 10% who were indifferent, and we had about 8% who were against it. And so we decided as a district, we had an open forum at a board meeting. We allowed those who were in favor, those who weren't in favor of it, to voice their concerns and their opinions. And ultimately, we decided to go ahead and go to a 4-day. And I explained it to my teachers. I explained it to my board. Do I think 4-day school week is better than a 5-day school week? No. But when you compare apples to apples and take into the account that so many school districts in our area are on 4-day, when other schools are paying more than we are, would I rather have my students, as I said earlier, my children are going into 8th grade, do I want them being taught by a teacher 5 days a week who's uncertified, or do I want them being taught 4 days a week by a high quality teacher? And it was, for me, I would prefer the 4 days. So when you look at it in that aspect, I think that when you say it that way, a lot of people are like, okay, I understand what you're saying. And it makes more sense. It's not that teachers don't want to work, because even with that Monday off, I guarantee you 90% of teachers are still either in their classroom, they're working from home, they're still checking in on that student that they have concerns about. So again, it's a new experience for us. It's still a work in progress. One thing that we did decide to do, I didn't want to add too much to the school day. So we only added 30 minutes. We added 20 minutes before. So we go at 7:40 to 3:25, which is 20 minutes before, and then an additional 10 minutes afterwards. And what we did is we just added a week to our schedule
Right.
at the end of the year.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, superintendent of Campbell Public Schools, talking about the a lot of the difficult things that he's had to adjust and handle in the last couple of years in administration that's been thrown his way. And we talk about the 4-day week. And there's a lot of different things that you have to take into account. If, for instance, if your kids are going to a career technology center, is that place open 4 days a week or 5 days a week? Also, one thing that I'm kind of interested in knowing, and I don't know exactly, this is your first year. A lot of kids in our area, underprivileged children, to come and they'll get 2 meals a day. They'll get breakfast. They'll also get a lunch. And then there's also a lot of schools will have what's known as an enrichment program where they stay afterwards. Is there something that's going on that Monday that Campbell is doing, or is it you're still trying to sort all that stuff out?
At this time, we're not, but that was that was the few concerns that I'd heard when we were considering was what about students who may need to be at school for a meal or just to have a safe environment. So we did send out a survey after we decided to go 4-day, and at this time we just didn't have the interest in an enrichment program. So we had talked about offering an enrichment program. We had talked about providing some type of food service, whether it was similar to what the summer food program does, where people can kind of just drive through and get a lunch, or even delivering those to the homes. So, like I said, I shared those results with the board, and we just didn't have interest in it at this time. But that's going to be something that we're going to continue to monitor, and probably be something like for parents, just like it is for us. It's going to be a transitional time, and they may not realize that it's a need at the moment, but maybe come December, as we move into the second semester, it may be a need, and that'll be something that we continue to monitor.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of the Campbell Public Schools, on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. Ben, as you're moving forward in the school year and you're looking down the road, what are some of the major things that you're wanting to try to accomplish as far as your legacy? I know that you probably got another 15, 20 years there at Campbell, hopefully as superintendent, but what are some of the things that's really, in the back of Ben Foster's mind of, I really want to get this accomplished before I leave this facility?
My biggest thing, and you could ask my staff members, I share every year, is my number one goal, whether I've been building principal or whether as a district leader, it's always my number one goal is build relationships. So I want to be known whenever I do retire, whenever I do leave Campbell, I want people to know that, man, he cared about students. I think the greatest reward is after a student graduates and they come up to you and tell you, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have graduated. And I tell teachers all the time, like, education isn't the only reason why we're here. We're here to build those relationships. And I was fortunate. I went to a conference right as I became an administrator, and they shared a video from Rita Pearson. She was an educator, and she has a saying that every child deserves a champion. It's an adult that'll never give up, that continues to push children to be the best that they can be. And at the bottom of my email, it always says, be a champion. And I try to lead by example of that, and I try to encourage teachers to do the same. And then, also, lastly, I want people to understand that regardless of what position they hold in a school district, their job's important. They all play a pivotal role in the educational process of educating our students. And, we all work together, and we all have to work together to achieve success.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of the Campbell Public Schools, talking about his role there as the superintendent. Again, it's Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. And I know that you personally and your family have faced some very difficult challenges. As a result, you indicated that you have twins, a boy and a girl.
Right.
Is that correct? And your daughter was born with a condition. Is that correct?
Yep. She was born, I guess we found out about 20 weeks into Laura's pregnancy that her kidneys weren't developing. So when she was born with one kidney that never did develop. And then the other kidney had cysts. They call it multicystic kidney disease. So we knew that she would, at some point in her life, need a kidney transplant. And we were told as soon as she was born, she would need it. And then by the time she was 1 and before she entered school. And if you know my daughter very well, she's spunky and she's feisty, and she's a very strong little girl. And she, going into her 4th grade year, I guess she was put on the transplant list towards the end of July. She was on the transplant list for 6 days. And we got a call that they received a match, and it was about 2 weeks before school started. And that was right after COVID. So I will say one good thing about COVID, there was a lot of frustrations, and it was a bad time for a lot of people.
Yes.
But one thing that it did is it really required school districts to enhance their technology and their online learning capabilities. So when Reese had her transplant, her immune system was low, so she spent a semester at home. And we were fortunate that we had that experience where our teachers were equipped and they were ready and they were prepared. And, Reese was able to successfully complete the 4th grade, and she didn't miss a beat. And so kind of going back to Campbell, I'll say this, like growing up in Kennett, I remember passing through Campbell and just thinking, like, who in the world would ever live in Campbell? There's nothing to do here. And I went over there and I spent 2 years as assistant principal, and then, like I said, I went over to be elementary principal. I just felt like to be an effective leader, you needed to be a part of your community and live there. So we moved over, and then when Reese had her transplant, it was you understood the benefits of living in a small town, and Reese had teachers and community members that just rallied around her. They protect her, they take care of her. And that's another great thing about, my wife and I working in the same school. We're all under one roof, so I can go check in on her anytime. And I already know all the teachers are going to take care of her. So yeah. And if you've seen her, she plays volleyball, she plays basketball, softball, cross country. And if you just seen her on any given day, you wouldn't ever have any idea if you didn't know.
And again, it all goes back to, the Lord works in mysterious ways, like you said.
That's right.
Coming from Kennett, you never thought that you would ever be in Campbell, but I don't think you'd rather be any place in the world.
That's right. My wife and I talk about that quite a bit.
And again, your wife is originally from Jackson, Missouri. Is that correct?
Cape.
Mm-hmm. So, coming to a small town and things of that nature. And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of the Campbell Public Schools, on Welcome to the Booth on KDX AM 1590, talking a little bit about his daughter, Reese. And I would also be remiss, you also have a son. That's correct.
Do.
And his name is?
Rhett.
And they're twins. He's a very good baseball player. Is that correct?
He's a good little baseball player. Yeah, he plays baseball and basketball, and he's running cross country this year, so we stay busy.
And I'm assuming y'all had a good season this summer?
We did. Yeah, we had a good season. We play with several Kennett boys. It's a little Boot Hill area team that we play with.
And again, we're talking with Ben Foster, Superintendent of Campbell Public Schools, a little bit about him on Welcome to the Booth, KDX AM 1590. And you've kind of hit the nail on the head. We've talked a little bit about it. You indicated that you were the assistant principal, then you became the elementary principal. Do you feel that, and then you also were a JAG instructor, one of the first of the 3 that were started in the state of Missouri. Do you feel that experience helps you be a more effective superintendent because you've seen the elementary, you've seen the high school, you've been in the classroom, different levels, and kind of know what to expect?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that. When I was offered the elementary principal position, the idea of maybe eventually being a district leader was maybe in the back of my mind. But at that time, I was only 6 years in to my education experience. But I was like, it would be a good opportunity to try something different. And I spent 4 years there, and that was probably the most fun I had in the 4 years. Just the elementary kids, they love you. It doesn't matter. You could get on to them, and 30 minutes later, they're wanting you to give them a hug. And you can just be goofy. You can be silly. And, I told my staff after the 4 years, I knew at that time I wanted to eventually be a district leader. So I had the opportunity to step into the junior high school. And even though I'd been assistant principal, I felt like I needed that experience of being a building leader just to help me when I got into the district level. I could understand all the aspects all the way from the elementary, junior high, and high school.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of Campbell Public Schools. Talked a little bit about the construction that's been going on, the impressive aesthetics that's going on at the Campbell Public Schools. Talk a little bit about some of the legislations that he's had to overcome, where we're at as far as the budget, things of that nature. And I know when you're not coaching baseball, enjoying the kids, spending time with your wife, you're also a member of the Campbell Peach Fair board. Is that correct?
I am.
Tell me a little bit about how you became associated with that.
Well, my first year as an elementary principal, we didn't have funds set aside for going on field trips or extracurricular activities outside of the classroom. So one thing I wanted to do, and it's something I stole from Kennett Schools. They did an annual auction, so we started an auction. I was hoping to, make $3,000 or $4,000 a year to, provide those experiences for students, and just being blown away from our community. We surpassed that by 3-4 times the amount on an annual basis. So the first year we asked the Peach Fair for a donation. And so they did, and in return, they asked me to be a part of the Peach Fair. So I felt like I couldn't ask you for a donation and accept and not be on the fair board. So I believe I've been on the fair board. I think that was my 9th year. It's unbelievable how much work that goes into an organization like that. Most people on the outside wouldn't understand the amount of time and planning that goes into hosting an event like that for a community. There's individuals that have been on that board probably 30 plus years that take a lot of pride. And so it's a great group of individuals. We have 5K, an annual 5K. We have a country concert each night, and we have one of the most prestigious, I guess, beauty pageants
absolutely
in the area. And then we have 4 nights of fair, and we have a parade downtown. So it really is it's probably the highlight of the Campbell community.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of the Campbell Public Schools, who's also a member of the Peach Fair board. And we're talking a little bit about that. I've always considered the Peach Fair, and I know I don't know why I do this, kind of the winding down of the summer when the Peach Fair is over. Yeah. It's time to get back into school mode.
School's coming when the Peach Fair is there. That's right. It's the week before school.
And again, we're here on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. And, I can remember going to the concert. There's been outstanding performers. I can remember seeing Kenny Chesney there.
That's right.
This year was Colin Stow. Of course, my aunt, Mert Todd, who was a longtime fan of the Peach Fair, her favorite was Billy Crash Craddock. He was famous for rub it in. And I think he played actually 2 shows, and I could be wrong about that, but that was one of her favorite things. And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent, talking a little bit about Campbell Public Schools, the Peach Fair. Ben, in looking at the school year, how do you feel that the attendance is looking as far as the number of students that are coming and the enrollment there at the Campbell Public Schools?
Yeah, we've been pleasantly surprised. Talking with both of my buildings this afternoon, from where we left in May, our enrollment, we're about 23 additional students than what we had at May when we let out. So again, that's significant for us. We finished the school year at about 537 students, preschool through 12th grade. So adding 23 students for us, that's significant, and so we're excited about that. And I think I think people look at Campbell. They want to be in Campbell, and we want to show the surrounding communities that Campbell's a great school district and a great place for your student to be educated.
And when we're talking a little bit about the Campbell Public Schools, you went to the 4-day school week. Mm-hmm. In your opinion, in hiring staff, and I know that it's wasn't a big turnover yet, do you felt that it was a situation in which it was something that greatly helped the district in being able to get certified teachers by being a 4-day school district?
Tremendously. As I told you before, even when we were 5-day, we were still fully certified. Transitioning to 4-day, we have 15 new staff members this year. A lot of this due to retirement, and just we have some others that left for other reasons. But out of those 15 positions, we didn't have any issues whatsoever finding quality, experienced teachers. And so maybe we would have gone from 1 or 2 certified applicants to where, at times we had 8. Sometimes we may have 10 certified applicants. And so, yeah, I think it is a testament to not only just a 4-day, but just being a great school district, being a great community, and it's somewhere people want to be.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of the Campbell Public Schools. Welcome to the booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking a lot about what's going on with the Campbell Public Schools. Ben, I guess my question is, you indicated there's 15 new staff members. Does Campbell or your board, or do you have some kind of program in which it's like a grow your own, in which there's some kind of scholarship for an individual who wants to go to school and come back and teach at Campbell?
So, again, going back to wearing many hats, you're looking at the Future Teachers of America sponsor.
Outstanding.
So, yeah, and that's it's a state-sponsored grant. So from year to year, we'll complete a grant application. And we've been fortunate. We've done it 3 years. So the way that we do it is, we're a smaller school district, so we don't have some of the funds that a larger school district may receive out of that grant. So what we do is we get students who that are possibly considering going into teaching program, and we do a after school tutoring program. And so we'll pay a certified teacher to stay for tutoring, but then we'll also pay a high school student who's in the Future Teachers of America program, and they get to work in small groups, and they get to observe a certified teacher. They get to work hands-on, and kind of gives them, although it's not a 7-hour a day and they're not lesson planning, they still get the hands-on experience and kind of help them decide, is this really something I want to do or something that I don't? And then for the last 3 years, we've been fortunate to have enough money that we've been able to give at least one scholarship to a graduating senior who's looking to pursue their education or their schooling in education field.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of Campbell Public Schools, as we're winding down. And he has graciously given us an hour of his time. School's just started, and he's got a lot going on, but he has been very good always. And any time that we've needed anything, he's been able to give it to us and do it, and we really appreciate that. Again, on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. A situation that I'm always amazed is you have an assistant or an individual who helps you with transportation, but how do you always manage to find enough bus drivers, transportation individuals to get all these kids back to where they've started each and every day?
That's the $1 million question. It's a challenge. I'm lucky. So one of the non-certified members I told you that takes a lot of pride in cleaning the floors. Her name's Miss Stacy Kirkpatrick, and she's been with the district for a long time. She handles all of our transportation. So she comes up with the bus routes, and she gets the bus list. And if we're shorthanded, she looks to divide the kids up in the right spot. And when we have extracurricular activities going out, she plans all of that. So a lot of it goes back to, you got to trust the people that you have in place. And I'm fortunate that I've got great people who work in the Campbell School District that are able to take on responsibility and to do it effectively and efficiently. But do we ever have enough bus drivers? The answer is no. I thought we were going to start the school year off with 4 spare bus drivers, and right now I don't have any. So we're still working on it. Again, it goes back to you only have so much money. You got to prioritize where the funding goes, and bus drivers just don't make enough money. You talk about difficult jobs. That's a difficult job. You want to make sure students are getting home safely. Parents turn their kids over to a school and they expect them to come home just like they left, and which is safe. And so you're trying to drive a bus. Like yesterday, we're dismissing school and we get strong winds and a storm out of nowhere, and you got 40 kids on a bus trying to keep them quiet in their seats. So it's not a job that a lot of people want to do.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster, wrapping up, talking about the Campbell Public Schools on the Welcome to the Booth on KDX AM 1590, and talking a little bit about that. If there's someone who is interested in becoming a bus driver, someone's interested in becoming a substitute teacher, someone who's interested in just doing some kind of role there, volunteering something for the Campbell Public Schools, how can they contact you, or how could they do that?
Yeah, you could reach out to me at my office, 573-246-2133, or you could always email me at bfoster@campbell.k12.mo.us.
And there's always the need for substitute teachers. There's always need for bus drivers. There's always the need for volunteers. I mean, sometimes it's just we need assistance. I know you have an outstanding certified staff, also we call them non-certified staff, as well as the aides and things of that
Correct.
nature, and secretaries. And I know as we're going, you've been telling me this, and you wanted me to make sure I knew. You're lucky enough to work with an outstanding board there at Campbell as well, who's really supported you through your years. So I didn't know if there's anything you'd like to say about the Board of Education and the way that they worked with you here at Campbell.
Yeah, I think we at Campbell, we have a great school board that supports our students, that support our staff, and that also want to support our community. And I think that's the most important thing is our school is the community. So we want to hear the voice of our community, ensure that we're serving the needs of our community. I've got board members that come from various backgrounds. I've got former educators, farmers on our school board. We've got school board members who work in family services. So that's and I think I'm lucky right now. I've got different perspectives. That way we can communicate, we can talk and share the perspectives with one another. And I'll tell you what's great about my board is we can have conversations, and we may not have the same opinions, or we may not come from the same viewpoints. But at the end of the day, at the end of the meeting, we all know that we're all coming from a good place, and ultimately that is trying to do what's best for students.
And I think that again, we're here with Ben Foster, the superintendent of the Campbell Public Schools. It's the old saying, we can disagree without being disagreeable.
That's right.
And I think, I've been lucky enough to come to some of your meetings, and I've seen some of the members of the board. As you indicated, we may not all agree on everything, but we're going to have a unified presence and things of that nature. And one last question, is there any kind of policy issues or things that are really coming down the pipe that you're looking forward to or going to have to address, you think, in the coming years? I know that DESE has made a big change with Carla Esslinger taking over, kind of more of a local control. Is there some issues that you're really, really focusing on?
Well, for our district, for the state of Missouri, I think it's probably a matter of time before open enrollment hits. So that's another thing that I keep at the forefront as we're planning for future long-term plans. Is it's been a hot topic for 3 or 4 years in a row. And I believe it probably will be again next year. So just making sure that your district's in a position to withstand if they ever do go to open enrollment. And so I would say that would probably be my biggest concern. And is that going to be a positive impact? Is it going to be a negative impact? And I don't think anyone knows how that's going to impact an individual school district until that time comes. So.
And again, we're here with Ben Foster talking about a very interesting issue, and we've got a few minutes where we're going to wrap up. You look at open enrollment, and most people say, well, what it is the state of Missouri gives so much to the schools for a pupil per year to educate them. The state of Missouri is talking about allowing you to come in and say, you know what, we live in Campbell, but I want my child to go to school in Malden or Clarkton or Holcomb or Twin Rivers. So we want you to give us this money and put it in that school district. Is that basically what they're saying?
No, that's exactly it. Yeah. And as a district leader, you're trying to plan from year to year, and it makes it challenging when you don't know what the next year is going to bring you when you're making those decisions. So.
And again, I think obviously when you're talking about a budget, it's a multi-million-dollar budget. It's not a small amount of money that you're talking about per each pupil. And again, I know that it's a concern, and open enrollment is something that's on the horizon, and I think that it's good that you're addressing it. Obviously, you're concerned, I'm assuming, about the formula being fully funded, and also the assistance with the teacher grants. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, last year was the first year in a long 10-plus years that the SAT had increased, and we were supposed to get paid $67.60 last year. We didn't quite get there. We were fortunate, the governor did increase Educational Foundation by over $300 million. So I'm optimistic that we can get to the 7145. Again, budget conservatively, showing that we're not going to make it there, but to fully be able to effectively run a school district, we should feel comfortable that if we're told we're going to get 7145, that the state should come in and hopefully they will provide that funding for us.
And again, here we're wrapping up with Ben Foster, the superintendent of Campbell Public Schools, also a member of the Campbell Peach Fair Board. And the last thing before we go is anyone who's in the Campbell School District, any patrons, any people of that nature who want to come, they're more than welcome to call the office, come in and view what's going on at the Campbell Public Schools. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Anytime we welcome our community. Like I said earlier, I believe the school is the community, and without the school, there wouldn't be a community. So we want to work together, and we want to make sure that we're serving our community.
And again, we're wrapping up with Ben Foster completing his 4th year as superintendent.
Starting my 4th year.
Starting his 4th year. I thought I was going to get it right, Mooring. But of course I didn't. Starting his 4th year, and he's doing an excellent job. Campbell Public Schools, I'd like to thank him for giving him this time here on Welcome to the Booth, KDX AM 1590. I'd like to thank you for making everyone this a part of your day, and have a wonderful afternoon and a better tomorrow.